Hey guys, it's Christina from Rocket Games. Hi. So I haven't talked to a lot of you in a while, and I wanted to make this video because we decided to make a really big, bold move um, and migrate our Monster Miniatures Patreon, which is our flagship Patreon, from Patreon to MMF. There's a lot of reasons why we decided to do it, and they'll make a lot of sense to us, to you guys. Some things might be confusing, and I have compiled a list of questions that you might have and wrote down the answers so I can try to get everything as precise as possible. If I missed anything, please feel free to just shoot me an email at rocketbitgames@gmail.com, and I will try to answer everything that I can for you. Overall, this is a big risk to us because we have created new tiers with substantially lower pricing. So we're trying to be competitive in a growing marketplace. We believe fully that everything we offer is worth the price. Modeling in a completely support-free way is difficult and specialized. It makes everything much more time-consuming for us, but way easier for the consumer to be able to print on FDM and resin without supports. And we love doing it, and we're a leader in that niche. But we still realize that we need to remain competitive with the growing marketplace. And by doing this on MMF, we have really, I think, been able to offer a very fair package to everybody. And I am hoping that we will grow our user base by being able to offer these great products at such a low price. And especially for the merchant level tiers, the price has dropped like in half. It's like a huge savings. So before I keep going on, let me read you my FAQs. Okay. In no particular order of importance, I will start with number 1, loyalty rewards. There will no longer be loyalty rewards offered on Patreon. We decided to start fresh in the MMF platform in March with the loyalty reward program. It's going to be way too difficult to keep track of the past and the current subscribers across 2 different platforms. So this is going to really make it easier. I realize this might be disappointing for some of you, but the substantial cost that you're going to save by joining MMF rather than remain on Patreon, I think is worth more than missing out on one reward. I know that there's a lot of you who are just starting out with us on Patreon. So we have taken the 3, 6, 9, and 12-month rewards and put them in our store. And you can apply your 50% off perk towards that. So you're going to still get it. Everyone's gotten everything that they deserved so far. And you're going to be getting a huge monetary savings by changing. So I think that kind of evens it out. Then we're going to start fresh on MMF again on March. So we're going to keep it going. Okay. Number 2, request threads and voting. That is what makes Monster Miniatures what it is. We're the only place I know of that offers 100% user-based requests to decide what we make every month. Some months we have great ideas that we would love to do, but we don't do them because it's all up to you. It's all up to you guys. So until the majority of people migrate to tribes, we'll post the request threads and voting on both platforms. The only change will be that you can only have one choice in the poll because that's all MMF allows in their polling system. We want to keep it fair, so we have to go with that one across the boards, and then we'll tally them and post the results. Once we phase out, if it ever happens, that we phase out Patreon and almost everyone's on MMF, we'll just discontinue it on Patreon and just mainly do it on MMF. But while there's still people in both places, we will do that beginning in March. So, yearly subscriptions and transferring. I know that there are some of you who have a yearly subscription with us through Patreon, and that's awesome, and we appreciate that. What we will do is you can either just stay on Patreon as usual until your subscription runs out, or I will send prorated refunds through Patreon after you sign up on Tribes, and I can see that you are a member there. Okay. I already paid for this month. Can I get a refund? No, you can't get a refund. You already got your files. But MMF is cool that they offer a 1 month free trial. So what I was able to do was download the CSV from Patreon. Everyone who's a current Patreon, I was able to transfer over to the 1 month, and that will be for this month, for February only. And I can send you that invitation to help you get relocated over there, so to speak. So everything that you have received through Patreon this month will automatically go into your MMF library, so you will be all set to begin with us fresh there in March. You're also getting everything that you paid for on Patreon. It's not like you're missing out on anything. We are not doing the polling or the request threads in MMF in February, so that's only on Patreon. So it's still normal over there for this month. So if you want to do that, I will be sending out the email to give you your free month, which is February, to help you transition and get set up. Make sure you cancel your Patreon so you don't get charged twice on March 1st. Okay. Are you closing your Monster Ministry Patreon? No. We still have early bird people who might not want to switch. So that's fine, or people that want to stay there for whatever reason until it's dwindled down that it's not worth it for us to keep on going over there doing things. We'll keep it open. Why isn't there a Death Dealer tier? Okay, so on Tribes, we were able to condense the tiers and lower the pricing. So you're getting essentially much more for your money in one shot. There is no Death Dealer tier included because we have a Death Haven tribe. It's its own tribe. One of the reasons we wanted to start fresh on MMF was to offer less tiers and reduce the clutter and confusion. If you want to continue to get the same miniatures that you had in the Death Dealer tier, you can join the Death Haven tribe, and even by joining both of the tribes, you're saving a lot of money. So if you were part of the Death Dealer tier on Patreon, which was $36 for all of the Monster Pack, all 3 deluxes, the Epic Monster Kit, and all of Death Haven, by doing it on Tribes, you'll be getting all that for $29 rather than $36. So it's a really big savings. We didn't just reduce it by a couple bucks, like we reduced it a lot. Some of you were wondering why we can't just change everything on Patreon and stay on Patreon. Patreon is not very user-friendly for us. There's a lot of things that we wish they would offer and do that they just don't. So you can't edit the tiers, the pricing for anything. What they tell you to do if you want to lower the pricing of a tier is you have to kick out all of your patrons and make a new tier and tell them to join it. Well, once you start getting hundreds of patrons, it gets very difficult. There's a lot of people that I have never communicated with, that I will send messages to, emails to, and they don't ever respond. They're just collecting their miniatures and they don't want to be bothered, which is fine, which is totally fine. I have a lot of you who I know by your email, by your name, that I talk to on a regular basis, which is awesome. I'm always around to talk to you. But kicking everyone out and just expecting them to rejoin is not an option. So we figured it'd be a lot easier to just transfer to MMF, which is what a lot of people want anyways. So what is the difference between the two merchant tiers? Okay, so on MMF, we only have 2 merchant tiers. And if you were part of the Printing Partners program, you'll know that it was extremely confusing. The reason it was confusing is because we constantly had new products and new categories in our store. But as I just said, Patreon does not allow for you to alter anything. So I had to keep adding new tiers. So what we did on Tribes is we just have 2 merchant tiers, the Monster Trader and the Master Merchant. The Monster Trader tier is all the miniatures that we have made, anything that you can get. The Master Merchant tier also includes Tilescape, terrain, and props. So if you want to print anything besides miniatures, like Gothic City or any props and things from Kickstarters that we've done, you'll want to be in the Master Merchant tier. That covers everything that we've made. Monster Trader, monsters. Miniatures in one, miniatures plus terrain and props in the other. Super simple. And they are way cheaper, like half the price that they were on Patreon. Okay. Let's see. Why Tribes? Why Tribes? Well, I've been saying pretty much why Tribes, but by using the Tribes platform, we're able to offer a more competitive pricing package to our supporters. Many of you have voiced your desire to have your miniatures directly added to your MMF libraries. By offering monster miniatures on Tribes, your files will automatically be delivered without you having to do anything. You don't have to keep asking me. You don't have to wonder if they're going to be there. They're just automatically there. Many of you have wanted that for a long time, so we're happy to be able to do that. Let's see. Since we can't alter the prices on Patreon, we're now able to shift the tiers around and create a brand new pricing structure. We've greatly reduced the price of the tiers and have even consolidated miniatures into just 4 tiers rather than 13 tiers that we had on Patreon. We now have 2 regular tiers and 2 merchant tiers. So it's really, really nice. And finally, can I get my past Patreon miniatures added to my MMF account? Yes, I'm working on it. We've gotten as far back as I think May of 2020, and I will continue to add them until I am all caught up. That was another reason why going to MMF is nice, is because it's automatic. The way it was before, I would have to ask them, hey, can you give my patrons everything that they get on Patreon on your platform? It's kind of unfair to ask them to use up their space and resources to, support another platform's downfall by not doing that. But they were doing it, but they're doing it at a snail's pace. So I've had things that I'm waiting for them to upload from months and months and months ago. So this will streamline it and make it much easier. Without going into all of the different pricing structures from our Patreon to MMF, MMF, it's the monster pack, which is like the minimum of 8 different creatures a month for $9. And our lowest tier that you can join on Patreon is $9. So that is the same, but the benefit is that you're getting it directly into your MMF account with no hassle. The benefits beyond that, we do have unpublished tiers on Patreon for like the early supporters that were early birds and they're no longer available. So altogether there were 13 tiers on Patreon. I think that the ones that you can join are now $9 for the Expeditionist, $15 for the Monster Hunter. So it's all your basic ones plus the deluxe 1 and 2. And then I believe it's, I can't remember, $30 I think with the Epic kit with it, and then $36 for the Death Dealer, and then you have all of the merchant tiers on top of that. On MMF, we just have the $9 and the $19. So it's such a small upgrade to get to the $19 one, and that is all of them. That is all of the monster pack, the 2 deluxes, the extra deluxe, and the Epic Model Kit, all for $19. So if you're on Patreon and you're spending a little less than that, but you're getting a lot less miniatures, by switching to the $19 tier, you're getting all of the things that we make, which would normally cost you $36. So it's a huge savings. And definitely, if you had questions about becoming a merchant, or if you left the merchant tier because it was just too expensive for you, now's the time to switch and join, because the merchant tiers are way less. They're $39 for the miniatures only, and $20 more for everything, the terrain. And that includes, if you join our other 2 tribes, all you have to do is join those at the regular tier, not the merchant tier. And that includes it. Our merchant tier covers all the bases. It covers all the tribes. It covers all of our Kickstarters. It covers everything. The merchant tier covers everything that we do. So, for instance, if you wanted to join the Monster Miniatures tribe and the Death Haven tribe, that one is $10. It'll cost you $29 for both of them, or $39.99, I believe it is, for the merchant tier, for both of them. So it's a great deal. If you have any question, guys, please contact me. I know this video is long, but I wanted to cover it all since it's a lot of big changes. Okay, well, thanks and have a great